Here's the thing about acting. If you have the desire to do it, you'll do everything in your power to be good at it. But you also have to believe that you're good at it. Because if you don't believe you're good at it, no one watching you will believe that you're good at it. If you can't convince yourself that you're good, no one else will think that you're good. Hi, I'm Tori Wiggins, and I am a multi-hyphenate artist. I am an actor, director, playwright, voiceover artist, and intimacy director and instructor. I'm also an artistic associate at Ensemble Theater Cincinnati. So I actually had the pleasure of starting really early. I went to a performing arts elementary school in Atlanta, Georgia, where I grew up. I went to a performing arts high school, and then I went on to get my BFA in dramatic performance at University of Cincinnati, otherwise known as CCM, the College Conservatory of Music. I went on to get a master's in education at Pace University in New York, and then I just jumped off from there, certifications here and there, but that's the bulk of my educational journey. After I graduated, I moved to New York immediately. That probably wasn't the best choice. It probably would have behooved me to do some type of internship. I was way too young to be in a city that big, but I was going for my dreams. I just went for it. I got an agent right away in New York City, and I lived in New York City as an actor for about 12 years. 6 of those years I did spend in education. So I taught dance and theater in New York City public schools for about 6 years. I got an opportunity to do a show in Cincinnati, Ohio. So I moved back thinking I was just gonna come back and do one show. And then that show turned into another show and another show. And then I just kind of hit the art scene here pretty fast and furious. I started auditioning. One thing I know for sure about acting is that it is hard. Acting, if you're doing it well, is very difficult and it requires a lot of you. It takes a lot out of you. Every time I perform, it could be a monologue, it could be an entire show. I am exhausted because of the physical and mental energy spent to really do it the way it needs to be done. It's hard. I think the reason acting is so challenging is that it's not lying. I think people think acting is lying. So if you're a good liar, you can be a good actor, but that's actually the opposite. I think acting is being honest. And that's really hard for people to do because in order to be honest, you have to be vulnerable, which is another thing that's hard for people to do. And I think as people, we walk around every day and we don't realize that the majority of the day we're trying not to feel, we're trying not to be exposed, we're trying not to have people know what we're really thinking and who we really are. And that's what we get used to, and acting requires you to do the complete opposite. Acting is difficult, but I think for an actor that really wants to do it well and to make sure that audiences get what they need, the desire to be a good actor is what makes us come back. The first tip I would offer a young actor is if you really want to do it, you owe it to yourself to try to do it. You do have the opportunity to have a career in the arts if you're smart about it, but you got to try, you got to start. You have to say, this is what I want to do. I think a lot of young artists, they look at the arts not as a career, but something that you can dabble in or have on the side. But I think that if that desire is strong for you to make that your livelihood, you owe it to yourself to try. Another thing I would tell young actors is to continue to hone your craft. Take the voice lessons, take the acting lessons, get coaching, take your classes seriously. If you have the opportunity, just keep learning. Even if you've taken one class and somebody told you you were good, keep learning. I really believe in honing your craft. I do believe in raw talent, but I also think that you gotta cook it a little bit. You wouldn't eat raw meat, right? So when people say raw talent, I'm like, okay, now keep sharpening that, keep going, never stop learning. I think that's really important. If I knew then what I know now, I would have not tried to go it alone. As a young adult, I saw the arts and the industry as a competitive sport. I really did a lot alone because I thought that I was in competition with everybody who did the same thing as me. And I wish I had tapped into community a little bit more. I wish I had sought the camaraderie of other actors. I wish I had sought the advice of older actors or more successful actors. I wish I had sought mentorship. This is not an industry or a career that you want to traverse alone. There are people out there that have gone before you that know what the mistakes are, and while they can't shield you and protect you from falling, I do think mentorship is important. This acting and theater is a community. Theater is a community. It is a sport. There is a team involved. And I think having a support system, a really strong support system, having people on your side, and having people that you can ask questions and to get mentorship from, I think is really important. I think one of the most important pieces of advice I could give a young artist is to not stop at one thing. Expand your package. One of the best ways to gain success in this industry is to hit a few parts of it. As an actor, someone who studied acting, it also has allowed me to develop into a pretty good director, which I love. I'm an actor's director, and one of the things I really focus on when directing is understanding what an actor wants. So I think, what would I want as an actor in this moment? I'm also a voiceover artist, and so now I'm acting without being seen. I'm using my voice. But those are two other ways that I can utilize my package as a career, so that if I'm not booking commercials or I'm not getting cast in shows, I can maybe then do an audiobook, or I can audition for some voiceover work. I think if there are other things within the realm of the arts that you think you want to do, or that you can do, or you want to explore, I highly encourage you to do that. I think it's really important for a young artist to understand what success means, because the definition of success is different for everyone. You will be redefining success along the journey of your craft. Like, as you start to develop what you want to do in the arts, success will change for you. When I graduated with my degree, I wanted to go to New York and be famous. I wanted to make it, and have my big break. But I didn't just I wasn't catapulted off into this stream of movies and TV shows. And I think for me, as I got older, I had to say, okay, so the first version of success, I don't have it, but I'm not ready to quit. I knew that I had a purpose, and I said, there has to be another way to fulfill this purpose. Maybe fame is not that way. Maybe the regional theater market is that way. And this is where I have this idea where I had all of this New York experience. And so even the phrase big fish in a little pond, I think is incorrect, because the regional theater market is booming. New York is not the only city to do really great professional Broadway caliber theater. And success for you could mean just being involved. Maybe you found another career that also fulfills something in you, and part of your idea of success is keeping your art fresh. So doing one play a year or joining a community theater group, that can also be success. I think you have to decide. I think you have to decide what success is for you in that moment, and B, really give yourself space and room to grow for that definition of success to change.